Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. John Owen talks about sports and movies. Thank you for checking out today's video. I always appreciate the support. Let's get into it. So today we've got Super Bowl 57. It's Super Bowl Sunday, best Sunday of the whole year. We got Chiefs versus Eagles, but the main attraction, of course, is the Rihanna halftime show. Literally so excited, geeking over this. But so today we're gonna have a Super Bowl 57 and Rihanna halftime show preview. I'm gonna leave my picks for what Rihanna's gonna sing, what she's gonna open to. Oh, and I guess talk about the game as well. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts down below. Who do you think is gonna win? Are you excited about the halftime performance? And let's get into it. So let's start off with the main attraction. I mean, let's be honest. I would say if you're not a Chiefs fan, an Eagles fan, or a Texas Tech fan, you're probably more excited about the halftime show than you are the actual game. I mean, Rihanna hasn't released any new music since 2016. I don't think she's even performed since then. And we're gonna get to see her perform live. Obviously, it won't be in person because I'm a little broke guy and I can't go. But I'm so excited. I have been a Rihanna fan for so long. She's always been one of my favorites. That's a picture I photoshopped of her and I to be my Valentine's when I was like in high school or something. Probably the single best Photoshop effort on the planet in the history of the world. Absolutely stunning work by 16-year-old John. That's fantastic. I mean, could not have done better. But so I've been having this debate on what she's going to open with, and the consensus opinion is that no matter what she opens with, it better not be that dumb Black Panther song. It's just not good. It was really sad because the first Black Panther album was so good. And I understand there were some outside circumstances to potentially led to Marvel not maybe pouring as much resources into it, which is completely fair. With like the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and it just not being the same kind of cultural kind of movement that the first album was. But I was really excited when it saw that Rihanna was gonna release a song for the album because she hadn't. This is her first. That was her first song in like what, 8 years? Yeah, 8 years, and it just wasn't very good. And I'm like, all right, Rihanna, we need like a real, I'm talking classic Rihanna banger after banger type stuff. And nobody's allowed to talk during halftime. No one's allowed to talk during halftime. Don't speak. Don't make any noise. We are focused. We are we are absolutely locked in to the halftime show. I'm really hoping that this is gonna be like an iconic one, similar to like a Katy Perry Left Shark type show, or Right Shark show. Just an absolute banger, just banger after banger after banger, just cranking them out because she's got the whole. Her discography is full of just absolute bangers, but just some ones that I hope she plays like SMN, Only Girl in the World, Love on the Brain, Disturbia, Say My Name, Umbrella, Diamonds, just like, and there's so many more. There's so many more. Don't Stop the Music is what I think she's probably gonna open with. Um, and just it's just really crucial that that this is what the culture needs. This is what America needs, is Rihanna to go out there and have an absolutely banging halftime show. And I have no question she's going to deliver. But I think she's going to finish. I think she's going to open with that Black Panther song, "Lift Me Up." To really hope she, or uh, "Don't Stop the Music." But as long as she plays "The Only Girl in the World," we're gonna be all right. That's my favorite one, no question. So now let's talk about the actual game. I guess the other part of the Super Bowl. Um, so we're gonna start off with the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're just gonna run down like the path of each team and their key players and stuff like that. So we're gonna start with the Chiefs. So obviously the Chiefs on offense are led by Patrick Mahomes, who just is coming off another MVP season. He broke the record for most total yards in a season. He just won this. He just won his second MVP, and he is on a trajectory to potentially challenge Brady for the greatest of all time. Already through 5 seasons in, he's hosted 5 straight AFC Championship games. This is his third Super Bowl in 4 years. And the dude is just an absolute monster. I mean, there's not enough words to describe how good Patrick Mahomes is as the best player on the planet and the gap he's created now. Um, Now that Aaron Donald and Aaron Rodgers have kind of regressed. Um, Pat's best weapon, Travis Kelsey, another player on the Chiefs that is, on track to potentially challenge to be the GOAT at their position. Um, Travis Kelsey, is the youngest tight end ever to 10,000 career receiving yards. He's got the second most playoff touchdowns ever. Um, and dude is just an absolute monster. You cannot cover him. It doesn't matter who it is with. You cannot cover him, and he's been crucial and just an absolute monster for the Chiefs. Especially after losing Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey has continued to not only keep up with his standard of production, but produce beyond that. And then other key players they have on offense, they got Isaiah Pacheco, Jerry McKinnon are the two running backs they use the most. Jerry McKinnon is an absolute beast in the pass game. Isaiah Pacheco runs so hard as a seventh round pick rookie this year. And then their other receivers, they got Marquez Scaldez Vasquez. Oh my gosh, MVS. I'm just gonna call him that. He is their bona fide deep threat. He had a monster game in the AFC Championship game. They also got Juju Smith-Schuster and Kadarius Toney, who are trying to battle back from injury, and I hope that they are fully healthy so we gotta have a full health game today. And then over on defense, they are led by Chris Jones, who is just a behemoth of a man. 6'7". He had 15 and a half sacks this year in the regular season. He had sack after sack. In the AFC Championship game, just feasting on the Bengals. He is, I'd say him, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelsey are the three MVPs of the Chiefs. They're invaluable to the team's success. Chris Jones is what makes it work. And then some other key players on the Chiefs defense. They're really young. George Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie are key contributors. They were both first round picks this past year. Nick Bolton I don't think he led the league in tackles, but he was like up there, I'm pretty sure. And then Willie Gay, L'Jarius Sneed, and they've just got a pretty solid defense. Even though they haven't been statistically the best, I think that they've been able to produce when it counts, and that's what matters. So the Chiefs win the AFC West again for like the seventh straight time or something like that. It's like it's gonna be longer than that. It's like almost 10, I think. It's like the second longest streak in NFL history behind the Patriots when they won the AFC East so many years in a row. And then they were able to achieve the one seed. There's definitely some debate about that, especially with the Damar Hamlin Bills Bengals situation. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs got the one seed. They had a bye. They beat Jacksonville in the divisional round, despite Patrick Mahomes sustaining an injury and having to not play part of the game. He came back in and he played very well, even on one leg. And then in the AFC Championship game, Pat put the team on his back on one leg, and was able to carry the Chiefs to a victory, also powered by a great performance from the defense. They had, I think, 4 sacks in the first half, and they just continued to apply pressure all day. And this is how the Chiefs got to the Super Bowl. Next, we'll go to the Eagles. So, arguably, the Eagles probably have the best roster in the league. No, I don't have any questions about that. They were the consensus, pretty much the top seed in the NFC the entire season. They kind of had been feasting on a weaker conference, but that's no fault of their own. They can only play who they play on the schedule. So, what makes this roster so stacked? Well, I think top to bottom, there truly are no holes. You combine that with the unique talent of Jalen Hurts and the system that Nick Sirianni has built around their starter quarterback, and you've got a really, really good recipe for success. So, in offense, they're led by the aforementioned Jalen Hurts, who has taken a huge leap this year. Like over 450 total yard or over 4,500 total yards, 35 touchdowns. Was the MVP candidate, I think, for the most of the year, the leading MVP candidate for the most of the year until he got hurt, unfortunately. And I think that's what probably cost him his MVP. But dual threat, his passing has improved tremendously this year. And him and AJ Brown have literally carried my fantasy team. Thank you. But AJ Brown, want to mention him. He was a new acquisition this year. The Eagles traded a first round pick to the Titans in order to acquire him, and he was great. And then Devonta Smith, their first rounder from a couple years ago from Alabama, is also a great weapon. They also got Dallas Goedert, who's a really good tight end. And then running game, they got Miles Sanders as the running back. Oh my God, who's the other guy? I can't really think of it right now. But and then just a really, really good offensive line led by Jason Kelsey. Travis and Jason, the first brothers to face off in the Super Bowl. Um, and then on defense, they've got a really, really good defense just on all levels. Starting the defensive line, they've got Hassan Reddick, who I think was second in the league in sacks this year. I can't remember if whether him or Nick Bosa were one. Fletcher Cox is still there. Jordan Davis, who they drafted out of Georgia this year. Um, in the secondary, they're led by C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Darius Slay, who are just two really, really great lockdown corners. So I really think top to bottom, this is arguably the best roster in the league. You can maybe make that case for 49ers, but with Jalen Hurts being a definitive upgrade over any of the 49ers quarterbacks, I think I'm going to give the advantage to the Eagles. So after going 14-3 and winning the NFC East, the Eagles were able to get a first round bye, and then they played the Giants for a third time and absolutely destroyed them. And then the Eagles, due to some, unfortunate injuries to Brock Purdy, and then, the 49ers having to go to a four-string quarterback, and just being a team that tends to blow out teams as is, the Eagles also blew out the 49ers to win the NFC Championship and clinch a berth to the Super Bowl. So now let's have some keys to the game. As far as, offense versus defense, I think something that is kind of going under the radar a little bit is the health of the Chiefs wide receiving core. Obviously, Travis Kelsey and MVS are fully ready to go, but if other weapons such as like Juju Smith-Schuster and Kadarius Toney are limited or on a pitch count of sorts, I think that's really going to potentially affect the Chiefs. Mahomes, of course, can throw to no names like he was in the AFC Championship and making it work. But the Eagles are very, very, very good. I think Pat's ankle is also going to be something to watch. I'm going to assume after 2 weeks of rest, it's going to be fine. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles will defend the Chiefs. How do they go about guarding Travis Kelsey? Because if they don't do a good job and Travis Kelsey ends up with 10, 12, 14 catches again, the Chiefs are going to be hosting the Lombardi Trophy again. But I think the Eagles are well equipped to generate some pressure on the Chiefs. So I really think this game is going to be won in the trenches, per usual. I know that's cheesy to say, but it always holds true. And so I think the keys to the Eagles are going to be generating pressure, being disciplined in their rush lanes, and trying to figure out a way how you're going to defend Travis Kelsey. And then I think for the Eagles offense versus the Chiefs defense, for the Chiefs, it's really going to come down to their run defense. The Eagles are built from the run. They always build off of that. Not that they're not capable of, airing it out and winning just by airing out. They've had some games this year where they hardly ran the ball and they were still very potent. But they do. That's how they do like to foundationally start. And I think that starts up front once again in the trenches with Chris Jones, George Kalafis, Trey Saunders, Frank Clark, and those guys are gonna have to do a really, really good job, along with Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, of just trying to limit this Eagles run game and trying to make them a little more one-dimensional. And then for the Eagles, I think Jalen Hurts has not been quite as effective since he got hurt. He just hasn't been, which is unfortunate because he's a really great player. But so I think that if the Eagles are able to continue to use their explosive downfield passing game, which they haven't been able to really do quite as much over the past few weeks, I think they're going to have a really good shot of hosting Lombardi Trophy just because they are so explosive and they are so potent. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are great deep ball receivers. Jalen Hurts throws a beautiful deep ball. Oh, sorry, y'all. And so I think that this game is going to come down to the Chiefs' ability to stop the run and protect against the deep ball. So who do I think is going to win? So I think this is a really interesting dynamic that we have between these two teams. I think the Eagles definitely have the better roster. No question. Like I said earlier, I think the Eagles top to bottom have the best roster in the league. And they're very well coached, and they've got a great quarterback, and they've got an ascending young coach, um, and stuff like that. So, I think that the Eagles are very well equipped to win this game. I have no question about that. But they are extremely inexperienced. I mean, this is only Nick starting on his second year as a head coach. They're really young. Just only Jalen Hurts. Like, I think this is year 3 in the league, year 2 as the full time starter. So I think they're really, really inexperienced. Um, and then you look at the Chiefs, who have Patrick Mahomes, who this is already Super Bowl 3 in 5 years. This is Super Bowl number 4 for Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. Their core has already played in multiple Super Bowls and had success. Obviously, they won one. Clearly, they didn't get the job done against Tampa, but experience is experience. And honestly, I think that the Chiefs, while not having necessarily the better roster, are better where it's more important. Um, Outside of having like an individually better offensive lineman, because I think the Eagles probably have 2 better individual offensive linemen than the Chiefs do. The Chiefs still have a great offensive line. Orlando Brown, Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith. Oh my God, who's the right tackle? I can't think, but they still got a very solid, very good offensive line. A little underrated, I think, but they've got the better quarterback, the best weapon, and the best defensive lineman, and the better, more experienced coach. So I think in a one game with this much pressure, and the Eagles, they can play a lot of ways, but they have not had to come and play from behind. And so they haven't proven themselves to be able to win in that type of manner. And I just think, I I simply will not bet against Patrick Mahomes. I won't do it. Obviously, I'm a huge fan. Got my jersey on for the game today. But just from an objective standpoint, time and time and time and time and time again, he's proven and risen to the top and shown you why he's on the GOAT trajectory. So I think the Chiefs will be lifting their second Super Bowl trophy in franchise history. And it's going to be a really close game. I think the final score will be 27-23, somewhere around there. But I think ultimately the Chiefs take the win. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I always appreciate the support. Make sure you guys check out the link content. And please leave your thoughts down below. What do you think is going to happen in Super Bowl today? Are you excited for the halftime show? And if you are, what do you want Rihanna to play? Well, with all that being said, thank you and enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday.